Camera. Okay, so we're on. We're live on Steinitch, and it's going to be another evening with the brainwaves. We got them up and working. Those are my brainwaves in real time. They're being transmitted through from my brain through some gel that I apply, and then it goes into the band, and then it gets transmitted into a software and projected there in real time. And a few nights ago, people were asking me, "Well, are they real?" Because there's a lot of fake ones around, and yeah, it's real. Believe me. That's it. You can watch the correlations and everything as I'm playing. It's like so obvious that they're reacting to everything that I'm doing on the board. When you start to get a hang of looking at how the different um, waves, there's the delta, the gamma, the alpha, the beta. Um, they're all interconnected and they're all doing like really different things. Um, it's just gonna take me 10 seconds. I got to do one adjustment here because my assistant producer Paul is still not back. I don't know if he's on strike or exactly what he's doing and why he's not here, but I think maybe he quit because it's been so long that I haven't seen him. He said, at first, he said, well, I was going to be because of the writer's strike in Hollywood. Um, that was the first reason he gave for not, showing up for work, and he wanted to be, how did he put it? In solidarity with them. And okay, I'm gonna go back. Okay, I got the everything set up now, and I haven't seen him since. So we're just gonna have to make do without him. And I still got everybody else. I got the best boys, the dolly grips. Um, I got the crane operator. The can't remember the guys that with the boom operators. They're all here, and everybody's doing their job. It's my job just to kind of sit here and play chess, and it's your job to watch the brainwaves and watch me play and chat. You guys are supposed to chat, like jump right in there and chat, please. It's very, very, very important. Um, just got to do one more last minute check here before we get started, and we'll be up and running like in about, according to this, in 30 seconds or so. We'll be there. So it's got a little. This is a little bit like the countdown at NASA when they, are gonna do the moon launch or whatever. They don't know what they do nowadays. They're not going to the moon that much. The last people at the moon were the country of India was there in August. The Chandrayaan 3 actually landed there, and it did a spectacular job roving around, and then it went to sleep during the lunar night and did some incredible maneuvers. And well, we can explain that later, but let's go ahead and look at our game. We're going to do a game tonight, actually, from so long ago. Francois Philidor versus NN. Okay, NN. Um, it's in French here. Analysis. Well, I got a crazy alarm there. Um, I got the alarm is a kind of an important thing. I gotta go and give a sort of an alert here. Hold on just a second. So anyway, I gave the alert, and I guess, well, I got disconnected there. That's another way you know that the brainwaves are real because I had to leave the room for a second and now it's making the reconnection. So let's get back to where we were here. Um, is everything working? I gotta go back to the Twitch studio and see if everything. What is this live now? What the heck is going on here? That's not what I wanted to see. Where did it go? Hmm. Don't understand sometimes this weird thing. Okay, I gotta take this. Ah, boy, I gotta go back. Wait a second. I gotta go back over here. Why am I projecting that up there? That is so weird. Um, Wait a second. I gotta get back to here. Okay, I think everything is good. It's just that it's connecting. Um, Wait a second. I'm gonna turn it off and turn it back on again. Okay, connecting. It says connecting to Muse. Everything got discombobulated. Okay, I'm gonna turn it completely off and try to get this thing reconnected. It kind of like that's okay. I mean, it's all in a day's work, right? I mean, I gotta see if this thing is even on. Okay, there's a light underneath this thing. This is the Muse 2. Okay, it's off now. Um, it still says it's trying to connect. I'm gonna have to turn off the mind monitor, I guess. It says connecting the Muse, but the Muse is not even on. Let me just see if I can do this quickly. And okay, now it should be back on again. Okay, let me see. Okay, I guess that solved the problem. So we solved it in real time on the air. Get a feather in our cap for that, I guess, to solve a complex broadcasting of brainwaves is not easy to do. But they're up there now. They're running again. The delta, the theta, the beta, the gamma, everything's up there. And as I was explaining, we got this thing here, this game. It's Francois Philidor, Analyse du jeu des échecs. It's written in French, and the date is 1749. Okay, that was a long time before a lot of things. It was before so much, 1749. What was happening back at that? Those of you who study history could chime right in there in the chat and tell us maybe what was happening around that time. Um, I'm sure some interesting scientific discoveries were being made, and probably quite a few other things were happening, political, whatnot. And so, anyway, this Philidor is pretty famous. There's even a chess opening named after him. There's the Philidor opening. And he played this King's Gambit. We've been playing Oh, did I forget to mention? Today is the 11th day of Christmas, everybody. 11th day of Christmas. You can count them up. January 4, right? No, today? Yeah, January 4. So we began these special holiday broadcasts on the 25th. So, okay, help me count them. So that's number one: 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 11. So it's the 11th day of Christmas. Okay, tomorrow's the 12th day. Hopefully, we'll be broadcasting tomorrow night. It's going to be Friday night, and it's the beginning of the weekend, so we'll definitely try to broadcast. I won't have so many work pressures and whatever, so we'll definitely be here, maybe even a little bit longer tomorrow night. Will be the 12th day of Christmas, which will be very interesting, very monumental. Today's the 11th day, and we're going to be looking at a game here. Francois Philidor. So without any more ado, well, I will just tell how it's described here. It's King's Gambit accepted. It's the Bishop's Gambit causal variation. And Francois Philidor won this game back in 1749 against NN. I think NN, I don't know, it's either a pretty cool name in 1749 or it could be just maybe he's unknown or something. But let's go ahead and click through this. So, wait, my camera guy is telling me something. Oh, it's the glare. He's telling me to take off my glasses. So, yeah, I don't really need those anyway, I suppose. There's a few lights and everything, but I guess I can see fine without them. So, is that better now? Okay. Okay, the boom operator is all right. Okay. Sometimes they hit me in the head with this boom. Hey, Fat Jack, man, you're here. Yeah, you're. Those are aviator glasses. Yeah, they are pretty cool. Um, I gotta tell you, there's a story behind these glasses. Um, and it's not that I tried to steal them or anything, but we had some people doing some work in our apartment, and they left them here. Um, and I was thinking, there was like 12 guys here doing a whole bunch of work, and then afterwards they all went their separate ways, and I gave them all a chance to check back with us, and somebody was going to claim them, and they haven't claimed them yet. So, but if they do claim them, maybe if they're watching the channel, I mean, here's your glasses. You can come get them. Um, but I'll be using them till then. Yeah, they're popular in movies. They call them aviator glasses because I think aviators used to use them. I suppose they still do. They got this part down here, aviators up pretty high in the sky, and you need to down here too, so you get reflections off the clouds. So they're looking pretty snazzy, and yeah, it's one of the ways in which I resemble Tom Cruise actually. So Jack, we gotta do some gaming here tonight, shall we? You can help me do some. Yeah, macho guys on motorcycles. Yeah, I think who you're talking about is Arnold Schwarzenegger. If I'm not mistaken, he wore some of these in Terminator, right? Um, don't know. That's my Terminator look. I just put them on and put my hands out, and yeah, everybody looks a little bit better with them, I suppose. So let's go ahead. Yeah, but this is a different one. Okay, so for those of you who are just arriving, just say once again, we are going to do right now on the agenda. We have a King's Gambit played in 1749 by Francois Philidor versus NN, and it's from 1749. It's a King's Gambit causal variation. And I've already looked through this game and it looks really great. In fact, I play a lot of King's Gambits myself and it looks a lot like some of the King's Gambits that I have played. Yeah, Philidor, there's an opening named after Philidor. You're right. And it's the Philidor opening. Yeah, Pawn's theory. He was the first one. He had this saying. I think he said it in French. My French is not too good, but the English translation is "pawns are the soul of chess." He made up that phrase, and ever since then, people have believed that. So let's click through here and see how Philidor did this, shall we? Okay, so Philidor is playing the white pieces. He moves a center pawn out, which is always a pretty good option in the beginning. There you got it, the King's Gambit. And as we keep clicking, you're going to see that's a King's Gambit accepted because black took the pawn. Notice down here, right down here, we have the modern Lichess. It's actually called Stockfish. And there's the brown line. You can see it advancing. And black has like a very small advantage right now, according to Stockfish. But you'll see it's a very edgy game, which can sometimes give white the advantage. This is a really cool move, by the way. I'm really happy that Philidor made that move because it's such a wonderful move. I love this move. It opens yourself up to this nasty check, and you can't interpose the pawn or anything else. If you interpose the pawn, he just takes it, and you're in worse trouble. The king has to just slide over, but it's actually been there. He comes out, and Philidor slides his king over, and this has been proven for hundreds of years that this is a safe position. I actually find that this is pretty great in Lee chess games. You're playing up to around 2000 or so, and people don't understand the theory too much, and they think, "Well, I'm winning the game. I'm winning the game. Um, I got him in check. My queen is coming down. He can't castle. He's all open." But actually, it's a pretty even position right now for white and black. Yeah, Anderson. Yeah, we're gonna do another game by Anderson maybe tomorrow. So okay, so let's see the next move. So Philidor moves his king over according to plan, and Black is going to develop some more pieces. If he figures, well, if I bring the bishop out here, I attack the queen, and I'll get some more, lines coming down this side. But before he can do that, the knight comes out, making the queen go back. Well, the queen doesn't have to go back right now, right? Because look, the knight is pinned. If I take the queen, so he gets that queen, and it's like a queen for a queen. So, and that's a kind of a iffy move, it says here, but it didn't vary too much. You can see right over here. You can look at the cursor here, where it's still a very even game. Black very often does this in this game, moves these pawns up because the king is here exposed, and he figures, well, if I get these pawns up here and more stuff's going to happen, the pawns will force away the knight. I'll get my other pieces out. See that very often. White developing his queen side. Okay, the queen comes back, putting some more pressure on things, and also relieving that pin because remember the queen was always subject to attack by the. Now this is an interesting move. A lot of people think that this is to attack this pawn. It's really not quite like that. It's more for getting the rook into play. The rook already comes up and actually even controls the square where the pawn is. It takes the square away from the queen. So the rook is already activated. And then that's a real questionable mark. And look at this. Look at the brown line. Suddenly white. That's what I was saying. Looks like everything's cool. Black is thinking he's doing great. And suddenly white's got like a huge, not a huge advantage, but right there it's 2.2. Um, the score is like almost a piece ahead because black made this kind of like a wasn't a strong move. Yeah, all the moves have to be strong if you're playing against the King's Gambit. So that's interesting move, isn't it? The king comes up. The king comes up. Um, there's a question mark and an exclamation mark. You see how Stockfish brings it down a little bit, but it's still very edgy because right now white obviously is going to threaten now taking this because his queen and his rook are connected. So now, before anything else happens, black is thinking, well, my queen's in danger and everything. Why don't I just put his queen in danger and maybe do some trade-offs? White's so not having a part of it is saying, I'm not going to trade your queen. I still going to put more pressure on you. Now the black queen's going to have to retreat because of this threat. Black queen comes back. The pawn, takes that pawn. Queen takes the pawn. Now suddenly Philidor shows his attacking prowess here because the knight, this knight is very often here to come up here and threaten to take here, but now Philidor is thinking, well, why don't I just put some pressure on this pawn with two minor pieces against his queen? And black doesn't have time to defend it or anything. Instead of developing with the bishop, which looks like a really natural move, attacking the queen at the same time, he does this move. It's a little bit trickier in a sense because now once the knight moves out of the way and it can go anywhere it wants to, the queen's going to be in danger. So black has and the black black goes, oh, I'm not having any of this. I'm going to bring my queen back up into there, and and now you see still ahead by three. He got his queen out of danger. He probably maybe it would have been better just to castle queenside. Maybe bring the queen back over here so he could still castle. He's going to have a hard time castling queenside now. Okay, so the knight came up. The bishop has to retreat. Now he's going to castle queenside. Maybe he did that on purpose. He thought this would be the excellent square to put his queen. A strong developing move by white. This is an excellent theoretical position. Pawns in the center, pieces in the center. Everything ready to spring loose. His king is a little bit exposed, but let's see how he handles this. Also, so he can't he, and this is what everybody does. If you play on Lichess, you're gonna see castle queen side, boom. They start um, advancing those pawns, especially in 5-minute games like I normally play. This isn't actually a very strong position. I used to play. Sometimes I'd go to this place in Sao Paulo. It was called the IP Sports Club, and there was a guy there. He was from Europe, and he was actually Brazilian champion 3 times, and represented Brazil in the chess Olympics. And he used to tell me that this is like a really strong position. The king there and the knight next to it. So I take his word for it, I guess. Um, okay, so more advances here. I don't know why he moves this pawn up, and there is a big question mark there. Um, Basically, when you're getting a pawns advanced towards you, unless you have a really good reason, it's better to keep your pawns back because it's going to take him one more move before he's able to come up there, um, make contact, and start to trade off. What he's trying to do is trade off and open lines against your king. So it's usually better, unless you have a really good reason, not to advance up into that. And there, pawn advanced, and he took him. This is just like a really classical Lichess game, um, but played in 1749 by Philidor. The knight comes out, but he's kind of like biting on granite out here. Look at this pawn structure. The knight doesn't really have anywhere to advance or anything to threaten. And oh, did you see that? Let me go back. Okay, so this pawn was hanging there, and the bishop came up, took the pawn, and attacked the queen. Queen moves out of the way. That's a kind of an iffy move. Don't really see what it's doing. He had a really nice pawn structure. It might have been better to conserve. And this bishop, what he's doing. Um, and you can see the stockfish also brought him down a little bit, but you can't expect him to play like a perfect game. He doesn't have to. He's far ahead, and I think he's going to win. Well, I already know he's going to win this game. I already saw this. So here's some movements, some exchanges. Um, Bishop comes up, does the exchange. Really strong pawn center now. Philidor has to figure out how to penetrate in here. He can bring his bishop in here, but it's kind of like just locks it up. He's got to figure out some way to break through into there. Just bringing the bishop up is not going to do it. Okay, the king does a valiant job. Stockfish was saying, okay, bring the queen over, but the king comes up, joins the game, holding down the pawns in the center. He's maybe going to open himself up to some checks on this side. Right now it's 0-0. Philidor was ahead, but has not been playing strong moves, and we're right back to 0-0. And you see some more maneuvering here. And okay, all heck is going to break loose now. The bishop comes down protected. The other bishop has to come over, takes him there. It's queen and queen against queen and rook against queen and rook, but there's a check. Queen is lining up to do something really dastardly over here, and the queen comes over and it's doing a good defense on all these squares. But now these pawns can advance, give some more trouble. Um, Now you're going to see a kind of an interesting ending in endgame. So the the rook infiltrates back there in the back row, comes over, is going to take this pawn. If black doesn't defend it, black comes up there. The rook swings back, and now the rook is in this position, better position than it was before. The king comes over. These pawns are going to come up, and there you see. That's anyone that sees that. If you know anything about chess, it looks very dire for black. And I gotta say, I gotta hand it to Philidor. He really pulled this in game off in grand style. The king is like trapped behind this pawn wall. These two pawns are controlling all these four spaces, and the rook is threatening a checkmate right there. And plus, of course, he's going to come down and queen these pawns without any threats over here. This pawn is just so far away from queening. So there you have it. Beautiful game. I consider it a beautiful game. I hope you liked it too. By Philidor, 1749. Um, what do you say, Sanchak? Was it okay? Did you approve of that choice? Because I'm curating these games. Yeah, it was a nice game. I really liked that game by Philidor. Um, that was a beautiful game. So I guess we're just gonna do one historical educational game tonight, and then we'll play some games. I'm gonna throw myself out here on Lichess. I'll also accept any kind of challenge if viewers want to challenge me, or if they want to just go to Lichess and look at the board. I'm going to throw myself out on the board where it's unrated because I got a lot of chatters and they're always giving me hints and everything. And it's not fair to really play online rated games, so I'm just going to go out there in the casual, play a casual game. If I get white, I'm going to play a King's Gambit to follow up on this chess instruction we gave at the beginning. If I get black, I'm going to do the it's called the Carol Can. I'm going to do the Carol Can, and it doesn't matter what white does. I'm going to basically play the Carol Can. Whatever he does, I'm going to find a way to convert into the Carol Can. So it'll be either King's Gambit or Carol Can. So I'm going to go out here and find where to click. Okay, it's right over here. And create a game. And okay, here we go. Okay, is this going to be a 5 minute game? All right, 5 minutes with no time increment. So it's just going to be no more than 10 minutes. And here we go. Okay, we're going to do, this is going to be, like I say, well, we're going to advance with this pawn first. We can always bring this pawn up later because that pawn is the Carol Can pawn. And we're going to put the question to this bishop really soon. We're playing a 5 minute game and we're just going to neutralize the heck out of that bishop. And we'll let him sit there for a little bit if he wants to. Um, See, now he can take and I take with the pawn, and that doesn't look too bad to me. That's still protected by the queen, so I'm just going to go over here. And if he takes that, okay, we'll see what happens. There he took it. And, he thinks, well, I got a bishop for a knight, but this pawn is now protecting for a pawn advance. And I think this knight is best posted right here right now. It flexibilizes our position. I'm just going to bring a rook over to this file because I want to advance this pawn up. I'm going to bring the queen up because I want to advance that pawn up. Um, and now I can basically do it, right? I mean, I got one. Well, I don't know. I'm just going to, it's hard to calculate all that. I'm going to try to force the bishop out. If he takes my knight, okay, now I can do it a lot easier, actually, because now I got the knight to protect it too. So without any more, well, I was going to say I would do it, but then this pawn's going to be weak. After this pawn moves out of the way, I better shore that. No, I don't know. It's always hard to do this. It is a gambit, right? If we lose a pawn out there in the center, that won't be too bad. Oh, and he's not going to take those pawns anyway. Normally in that position, if they let me move that king pawn up, and it just keep going if they're going to allow me. So now we got to figure out what to do. This bishop has to go somewhere. Why don't we just bring it out here and see what happens? He can bring this pawn up. I don't know how many players would do that, but he could. Um, I'm not doing this to attack the bishop, but I want to bring this pawn up maybe before it gets too late. While the going gets good, I want to advance that pawn, and then I'll swing a rook back over here. I don't have to. Yeah, I lost that pawn, but I was talking about that. That was my gambit pawn, right? Um, Now I'm going to move this one up. Oh, I can't. I got to put my king over in the corner. This pawn is protected by the queen, by the way, so don't have to worry too much about that. How are we doing on time? 4 minutes against 3 minutes. Okay, so now that pawn is in danger, and he's attacking with his queen, so I'm going to bring that pawn up. Now what? Oh, if he moves this knight, I got to pin on his queen. What did I lose? Just lose my bishop? Oh man, no, I got to figure this out. I'm going to have to take his bishop, and then I can move my bishop back. So, I don't know, saved by the bell. Um, Bishop found a way to get out of there. Okay, so we're doing a bigger gambit now than before. I'm going to bring this bishop, save him, and also put him in line with the queen. That might come in handy later. I got to get this rook out of the pin, and it does go against that queen. I might be able to advance a pawn. Okay, the queen is out of there now. I think I'll attack that queen. I don't know. Now I'm just kind of playing on the seat of my pants. I'm thinking about bringing the knight up into here. I don't know if he wants to trade off that bishop, and if he doesn't see it, I'll take this pawn. But he might just decide to take the bishop. Oh, I can't take the pawn now, but I'm gonna would like to get this out of there. Oh, I can't get it out yet, though, can I? I gotta bring this over first. The queen has to protect the rook here after. Okay, so I'm going to gambit a pawn, gambit another pawn. I'm gambiting quite a few pawns here, but um, these gambits can be strong sometimes. So this looks like, should I just gambit that pawn? I think I'm going to gambit one more pawn over there. 2 minutes against 3 minutes. Okay, so he's allowing us to gambit this pawn. He's gambiting one of his. And that could, we'll see what happens. Anything could happen right now. I'm going to attack. I'm just going to go for the checkmate. I know he can get a queen over here very fast, but I'm going to check his queen and then hopefully do something kind of smart here. Well, maybe I just better get my rook out of danger. I don't know how smart I can be. I gotta get my rook back to the back rank and maybe defend against this pawn over here. I would have loved to invade with that rook, but I just couldn't see how to do it. Um, I'm just gonna play the clock now because I know the bishop was there. I forgot about you know, it's because of the brainwaves. Did, did you see that? How the delta was so high up? I should have seen that. I should have took that delta down out of there. Um, the delta goes up high when I get insights, but if I'm just on if I get one insight that's just constant, too long, like a prolonged insight, it it I get drifted into mistakes because you just can't if you go deep into one insight, you're not paying attention globally to everything else. So I should have been looking at the waves more, and I'm gonna have to resign. So I could have Okay, well that was all right. Let's see if we have any challenges. No, I don't have any challenges. I guess I'm gonna play one more. Hope you guys are enjoying this, and hope you're enjoying the brainwaves because that's basically what it's all about. It's pretty hot here where I am. I'm gonna just I got like a little relief here. I can turn on this thing over here and get things cooled down a little bit because this time of night, I don't know, we get some infrared somehow from the atmosphere that comes through the window. It just like heats up the room at this time of night. I don't understand why, but okay, I guess we got the temperature under control now, or at least it's going to be soon. Uh, Let me see. There. Okay, now we're all set. That was fun. Okay, let me see if I got any challenges. No, no challenges. So, um, I'll go ahead and play one more, and the brainwaves are going to be there. I'm going to get a better gel by soon. I'm going to send a way to get a professional gel. Probably buy from Amazon or somewhere. I don't know if I can just go to a university or hospital or something and buy a bottle. I don't think so. But I have to get a bottle of real gel. I've been making my own, and the gel that I make, I put like a little pinch of salt as a conductor, and then I use unflavored Jello brand gelatin. It's unflavored, and heat it up, and then when it gets cool, it kind of solidifies, and I rub that around. And the problem is it dries out after a little while. It doesn't stay moist enough. So it's kind of like Cinderella. I have to play all my games in about an hour, and then until I get the real gel at least. So because I really this channel is about the brainwaves more than anything else. Yeah, I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna get some from Amazon. I see it's the only way, and it's and I live a little bit far away from the closest Amazon. It's kind of like it takes a while for it to reach where I am. It's not like people in some places in the world they just order it and it's there the next day or 2 days later. It takes a little while, so I have to really have the long range idea like, well, go through all the trouble now and I'm going to get it sometime like in 10 days or something. So but I'm going to do that. It has to just be long range planning. Okay, so no challenges. So I'm going to go here and click on another one here. I'm going to go over here and just throw myself out onto the Mercy. Yeah, yeah, it should not be a problem. No, but I'm not, I'm a little bit far from the United States where I am. So let me click here. Casual, like I say. Okay, so there we are in the list. If you're at Chess, you can just click right there on Steinitch at the top, and we'll see what we can get here. It's going to be kind of fun. Yeah, I played a person from Brazil last night, Rosemary, and that was great. A real sports person, very very sporting. Um, really really nice chatter too. Oh wow, the brainwaves are just was going so up. I think they went really really up. I was just remembering the really great moments from last night. Playing Rosemary and how pleasant she was after the game and everything. So it was a pretty good night. So a lot of people are just zoning out. I've got how many people? 53 viewers, and I think this is the only place on Twitch where you're gonna have that many viewers and nobody hardly chatting. I got Sat Jack chatting, as always a good chatter. Um, but everybody else is just zoning out on the brainwaves. That's the thing. They come, they watch the games, and they just zone out. It's just like watching your favorite. I'm not so edgy as Philidor and Anderson and Morphy. They like to bring the bishop out first, but I bring the knight out first so I don't get exposed to that. Now, moving that pawn out is the way they always recommend. Oh, well, this is a different kind of a game. This really opens up some interesting possibilities. A lot of the times, I like to just come over here because if he takes me, I come out here, check, and the king comes up here, and I come down there, and it's just about checkmate. I mean, should I do that or just maybe take here? Maybe I get a pawn out of it. Maybe just come over here and try to get the pawn out of it, and then just see what happens. I don't know if this is going to work, but you'll very often get a checkmate out of this position just by sacrificing the knight like that. You bring the king up over here. And now it's anybody's guess what to do. I don't know if you can see what to do. I mean, I could come back here and drive him back the other way. I can bring my knight out. I can bring a pawn up. Um, I can bring this pawn up even, but I can prepare this pawn push by going this up because he'll take my pawn if I move him up if I don't prepare first. Or I can bring this pawn up and get like a checkmate over here. That looks like the strongest thing. I'm going to move this pawn up and then hopefully just checkmate him right here with my bishop and see what happens. I don't know if he's going to see that and prepare for that or not. See, he came out with his queen to neutralize my queen. Now what happens if I do this? I don't know if you can see all the squares. I'm just going to do it and see what happens. Um, I think he maybe has somewhere to go. And I don't know. He had this square, didn't he? But I guess he didn't want to go there because I was going to put him in check here and then bring some other pieces against him. But this just kind of like does almost the same thing. He can bring, okay, now he's got that place to go with this. Suppose I bring my queen up here. Isn't that, I'm going to watch out I don't get run out of time here. Oh, I still got 3 minutes left. Um, Looks like if I bring my queen right here, I get checkmate on him, right? So let's try that. Move up there. Does that work? Oh yeah, it worked. We got it. We got it. We got it. Okay, so that was like a King's Gambit in classic style. Um, this person hasn't had much luck against my King Gambits either. If you look down here, that's been like 3. Yeah, that was nice. I think we can click through that one. Um, I don't know how to not rematch him. I'm just gonna, I don't know if you can tell him I don't want to rematch, but because I want to analyze this. That's the only thing. Otherwise, I would play him again. So let's do the analysis board and just to see because people are a little bit iffy about the King's Gambit. Is it really powerful? Does it really work? Can you play this on Lead Chess and actually win games? I mean, in that case, we were playing a person above 1800 and just kind of like wiped them off the map after just a few moves. Because we did something, I didn't think it was very edgy or dangerous. You see, I went down a little bit, but really not that much. I mean, and he had an exposed by this point. Um, what was before I took the pawn, and then when I took the pawn, which I thought was, oh, he did that. Yeah, when he did that with his pawn, then I took there, and you see, it looks like a knight sacrifice, but look at the stockfish. Look at this line. I actually went up a little bit by taking the pawn, and I got a 4.9 advantage. So, if you like, you know, sort of like sensational, spectacular play and everything, King's Gambit is the way to go. There, on the fifth move or so, I do something like take a pawn with a knight and immediately get my knight taken, but I wouldn't really call it a sacrifice. It opened up so many lines, but a lot of people would call it a sacrifice, I guess. Um, but anyway, it's cool to sacrifice pieces. It's kind of spectacular and fun. And okay, so let's start at the beginning and go through the King's Gambit really quick. Okay, so that's the King's opening. I would never play that, by the way, if I wasn't going to do the King's Gambit. If I'm going to do anything else but the King's Gambit, I would move a queen pawn or a knight or even a queen's knight pawn or something. I would never just move the king's pawn out unless I was going to do the King's Gambit. So there I bring the pawn out, and King's Gambit accepted. And we're down by a half of pawn according to Stockfish. You can see the brown line over here, and we're just right there, um, just down a little bit. But it's so edgy. I think we have an advantage right now. Stockfish is saying that's the best move for white. I don't know. I think this bishop move is just a little bit edgier. It opens up a lot of attacking possibilities. It's already bearing down right here. You can get some pretty nasty attacks against that. Like, just to give you an example, if this pawn's not here and he put me into a check right now with his bishop, I see I can already take this. Well, I can't do that until I cast, so I'm getting ahead of myself. But so anyway, the bishop comes out, and then okay, we talked about this during the game that I moved that pawn up, not really to threaten that pawn, but to give the rook some power over there on that side. That's a big mistake. You never do that, man. When you're doing the King's Gambit, when you're playing against the King's Gambit, you got to be really careful. Black needs to be really, really careful about this white diagonal because the queen is always one move away from this check, and that's a nasty check. Nothing can defend against it. His knight is powerless to defend. This bishop is powerless. This bishop is still not developed or anything. And so now I can basically move my knight anywhere. And you remember during the game, I was thinking, should I move him over here? What can I do? I don't know what would be best to move him. If I click here, Lichess will tell me the best move. Oh, I actually did the best move. Can you give me a break? Wow. You remember during the game I was debating like what should I do? Like if I bring him over here, maybe he gets taken with this knight. I was thinking, well, I was just playing it and I'm thinking, well, at least I win a pawn here. So I want to get the knight out of the way of the queen. So I was just thinking what to do. Well, I'll take the pawn. Like you get 1 point by taking the pawn. And see, now black should not take the knight right now. Black should bring the knight over to here because then when the queen comes out here, he has a chance to block. He can bring the knight back. But again, if he doesn't take the knight, he's still in trouble because he brings the knight out here. I can still come out here with a check. He brings the knight back, but I've got so many things I can do now. This knight will come up here. Imagine his knight over here and my queen here. So now this knight can come up here. He's protected by the bishop, attacking his queen and then winning the rook. Right? So yeah, I don't know if that's a what you call that a trick. I would just say that I didn't really do any tricks. I think it was a solid opening. It's just that he made a real blunder by opening up this white diagonal against his king with my queen at this position. It was just like yeah, he fell for this trick. You could say that he took the knight, right? Yeah, he took the knight. It doesn't look like a bad idea. Okay, I want a knight. I want a knight. But suddenly Stockfish is saying, um, checkmate in five. Now, I didn't really see how to do it. I guess like a really expert player would see all the five moves. But obviously, I got to come out there with a queen. So I just did that. That's pretty obvious. His king's got one move. And I'm pretty sure that Stockfish is going to tell me to come down here. Let me see. Yeah, see? If I put the cursor here, Stockfish shows the arrow. So the queen comes down check. And again, black has one move. Black has just one move, and that's to bring the king up there. Now I was debating, like, what am I supposed to do here? I brought this pawn up because I was thinking this move would be really strong against his king. His king is over here. Um, Stockfish is telling me that this is a good move. And I guess that's a good move because even though he can take with the knight and threaten my queen, um, I would have to come up here, I guess, not to lose a move, and his king would go back here, and then don't know what Stockfish wants me to do after that. Yeah, his king ain't going anywhere. Yeah, castle. I think that's what Stockfish is saying. Move the pawn up. His king ain't going anywhere, and then I can castle and suddenly have a powerful rook out here in the center too. I'm just going to play that through and just see what the continuation would be. So there you got the check. Look, the king has nowhere to go. Well, it can come up to here, but I think most players would just take it with the knight attacking my queen. And now, yeah, that's what exactly what I was thinking. So the queen is in danger, and I don't want to lose any moves here. I don't want to lose any tempos, as they call them. I gotta move the queen with either a check or a threat, so he can't start developing other pieces. And now his king has only one move, doesn't have anywhere to go except back there. And Sajak was telling me that probably the move is going to be the castle now. And I think Sajak is right, although I do see this move against the knight also looks kind of strong. Winning back the knight. Bringing the queen up here would be horrible because the knight just takes it. So let's see if it's going to be a castle. Let me put the pawn here. Oh, I didn't even see that. The queen just takes the knight. You see? That's how bad I am. I just don't even see obvious moves like that. Like the queen just takes the knight. I'm thinking castle. What am I supposed to do? I should have saw that before. Let me back that up so I can. I like to when I see a move like that. I like to do it. Okay, so in this position, um, the pawn comes up. The king can come over here, but probably is going to take. And then the queen comes back for the check. The king moves, and then obviously the queen takes the knight and is also going to take the rook. So we'll just play that through. So comes up there, comes up here. That's a wonderful check. The king comes here. There you have a check. No, I'm not going to take the rook because it's checkmate. Um, like just so many possibilities. Yeah, an anaconda. So it was a even castling I think would have given me a good game, but I just taking the knight was overwhelmingly strong. So and what did I actually do during the game? I didn't move that pawn up there. I came down there with the queen. The king went there. I moved the pawn up here, going for this check, and then he brought his queen out here, and Stockfish is giving me 6.7. And then I brought the bishop out with the check to see what he would do. And he brought the knight up. Then he brought the knight up to give his king this flight square. The Yeah, it let him off the hook. You're right. I mean, I had like a forced checkmate, and now I've got umpteen other ways to win, but he's still alive. Um, oh, he should not have moved over there. He should have come over here, I guess. Oh, he could have brought the pawn up. Yeah. He could have brought the pawn up, and I'm ahead by 6.3. So it was a strong opening in any case, but he just got I don't know what the name for this would be. He got like bewildered. Let's put it that way, because the queen's there, the two rooks and everything, and things are looking dire, and people just like get kind of instinctual, and he's thinking, well, I'll move out of the way of those bishops, and then my queen came up here with a real mating net. It's a mating net because the pawns are like a wall. They're almost like the edge of the board behind the king. The king cannot go anywhere. And the bishops, The two bishops control all of these four squares in front of the king, and then the queen comes up here. The king can go over here, but then the queen just slides over. If the king went here, now the queen can checkmate here or also here. Um, so that would be it. Well, that was a kind of a fun game. We got a lot of brainwaves. We got a lot of brainwave data. Now, I'm not actually saving, I've got to tell you, I'm not really a scientist. I'm not saving this brainwave data, but I am the only person on internet, on Twitch or on internet or on YouTube that's playing chess with brainwaves. So I feel that at some point, either now or in posterity, perhaps, this data will be important, and it can be reconstructed using a software that looks at my broadcasts, analyzes the motions of the waves, and then reconstructs, the patterns of the wave as a natural EEG, and then correlating all of that with what can be deduced would be my thoughts and feelings during the game. So you get a wonderful correlation in terms of memory, strategy, feelings like either exhilaration or anxiety when I'm in trouble. And plus, you got the podcast, you got people watching, you got followers coming in. It's amazing when I get a follower. The brainwaves just go like crazy. And if you're going to follow me, watch the brainwaves. And like after I'm playing for an hour or so, at least until I get the better gel, the brainwaves tend to get flatlined sometimes. So if you're going to follow me, don't follow during a flatline. It's best to wait until the brainwaves are active, hit the follow button, and then watch what happens. It's completely crazy. It's completely crazy. So I guess that'll. Oh, yeah, it's already time where I am. I guess where Sajak is, it's just like beginning the day, right? And here I'm ending the day. So that's how the world turns. One person's morning is another person's evening. One person's sunrise is another person's sunset. I'll never remember once the last day I was in a country and I was going to the airport and it was very early in the morning and I was walking down the street and there was this homeless person there and he looked up at me as I was walking past him and I felt something like this guy had some sort of a cosmic consciousness or something. And he said something so remarkable. He says, "Is the sun rising or is it setting?" And I told him, I said, "It's rising." It wasn't rising yet. It was like the pre dawn. I said, "It's rising." And then I realized how symbolic it was and everything. I was leaving the country, I was leaving my job there, I was going on to other things. And yet, I had the hope of like a rebirth. The sun was rising. And then I thought, I don't know. I was thinking that guy was a plant by the universe there, like to give me that question and to make me think. So, Jack, the sun is rising for you, setting over here for me, but it will rise tomorrow. So we'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, tomorrow's the 12th day of Christmas, and it's going to be strong brainwaves and strong chess. And thanks for joining again, and we'll see you all very, very soon. Thanks, man. Thank you. Okay, bye bye.